Izak, tell us, where were you born? Tell us about life.
Yeah, this story of mine comes, it's about 28 years, and it's the first time that I'm going to tell it. So, yeah, I grew up in Krugersdorp. I'm a Woesterander by born and bred. Yeah, I grew up in a normal church, loving, fearing family, going to church every day. And being young, I knew the Lord. I praised Him. One of my best memories is before school, sitting with my grandma and just doing a little bit of Bible study like that, and tackling the day. And yeah, life happens, and me and my mom didn't have a really tight relationship. And as you hit teenage years, you do start to rebel, and inadvertently, I started to rebel against the church, and I drifted further and further away. And my friend Sardo said, "It's the best. I became the friend your parents warned you about." So yeah, I finished school and started studying. Uh, and I remember sitting in traffic. Yes, I hated this traffic, and it made me swear. A guy on a motorcycle came past, and I thought, that's it. Why must I sit in traffic? You can just cut through the lines. And I went and I said, I want a motorcycle to drive to varsity.
And that's when you bought this thing.
Yeah, so
Now, it doesn't look like a GX.
my dad was totally against it. My mom was. And yeah, so went to varsity, and Afrikaans got a saying, "Soort soek soort," and I immediately started identifying the wrong types of friends. And yeah, I think my life would have spiraled more and more. Then 1998, Easter Monday, in the evening, 5:15, I had an accident. A guy with a BMW overtook on a solid line. Now, the guys that follow the wheels spinning culture, it's a Busheshe BMW, so it's all full metal BMW. And needless to say, when you're on a bike, you come second.
So this is what the bike looked like.
Yeah.
When it was done. So just, I know it looks like a heap of stuff, but there's the back wheel up there. This is the fork. That's the tank. That's the rest of the bike. What did you look like?
Yeah, just to give you an idea, the oak that bought it as scrap from the insurance, when he came there and he said if he knew it looked like that, he wouldn't have wasted his time to come and pick it up. So, yeah, I was admitted to hospital. I had open fractures in my arm, my top leg. So the Monday I was admitted to Flora Clinic. On the accident scene, they actually want to flew me with a chopper. But the chopper was busy, so they loaded me in an ambulance and they took me to Flora. What they saw was open fractures in my femur here. That was the first miracle. The bone missed the main artery by millimeters. If it cut the artery on the accident scene, it's 2 minutes and you were bled to death. So the Monday I got to hospital, they fixed my arm and I went back and they put me in ICU for observation. People say I was awake. I was speaking to everybody. I was fine. Tuesday, also waiting. Wednesday, I went in to have my femur and bottom leg put pins in. On the operating theater, my heart stopped. They got me back to life, rushed me back to ICU. Then it turned out I had an embolus that shot to my lungs. Now, embolus can go three ways. It can go to your brain, your heart, and your lungs. Brain and heart, you're dead. Lungs, there's like a 10% chance of survival. So that was a Wednesday. If you can look there at the top, that blue thing is what regulates the drips and the drugs going into your system. And I got progressively worse and worse. So much so by the Friday that there was a real possibility if I don't stabilize, I would be brain damaged.
Now, the next photo, you'll see that those blue things above his head, Palki, Philip. Aze, look at that.
So the doctors didn't really have high hope, and they said, come and say goodbye. So my sister was in America, in Chicago, doing au pair work. She flew back. I think she landed Sunday. I was still just barely hanging on ventilators, like you can see. And I remember afterwards they told me, they said, sit with him and talk with him and rub his arm, the one that's not broken, to keep you from going spastic. And she was moving my arm like this, and she actually tore the ligaments in my other arm. So she was feeling crying, my brother's dying and I'm hurting him more. Yeah, so then the doctors basically said, look, he needs to either come right or he's going to have brain damage. And instead of just crashing, I sort of plateaued out and I stopped. I didn't get worse. I didn't get better. I just stayed there.
But were you in a coma?
Yeah, I was in a coma.
How long?
For about 10 days.
8 days.
8 days.
So, just want to get this. Can you remember anything of the crash?
No, I can't remember anything. That Monday, Tuesday, I was in hospital. They said I sat in the bed and I ate chips and I talked to everybody and I can't remember anything.
And then you went into a coma.
When I went into a coma.
So you started out with those few drips and now you've got all these drips going and now 8 days in a coma.
Yeah, so these photos was taken by my parents at night in the ICU. And the first thing I remember waking up out of its ICU is lying in bed and somebody's got a mirror over me and I'm looking at myself in this mirror and I thought, what did you do? What happened to you? So my parents wanted to take another photo and the charge sister said, no, you can't. He needs to give permission. And that's what I saw when I woke up. So that's what I saw when I woke up.
It's very interesting. It looks like you hit your eye somewhere. Did you have a helmet on?
I did have a helmet on.
And so what bruised your eye like that? The helmet?
It's called surgical emphysema. So if you're on a ventilator, the ventilator just pumps it and it pumps it. So your skin becomes like Rice Krispies. So if you press it like, you press on it, you hear it snap, crackle and pop. So yeah, there it turned out lying down and having x-rays. I've broken 16 bones in my body. Everything on the right side. My liver was torn. Kidney stopped working. I got septicemia. So I went through a very, very bad patch of it.
How old were you here?
18. I was 18 years old.
18, and you turned 19 while you were in hospital, right?
Yeah, so after 3 weeks, 21 days, I finally made it out of ICU. And that day I turned 19.
So this is the photo that your mom took, and then it was the rehabilitation, right?
Yeah, so if you lie down flat on your back and don't do anything, you lose about, they reckon, 25% of your muscle. So for 3 weeks after I down, I had no muscle left. Just sitting in a chair took a lot of effort. And I needed to start to learn to walk again. The problem is with the crutches, this arm was totally shattered, so you can't press on it. So you had a crutch that you press on your elbow to start walking. And the main thing is they had a new pins that they put in, and it worked on the principle of if you put weight on it, it presses the bone against one another. And it makes it heal better and faster. And anybody that's broken a bone, if you press it like this and you're putting your weight on it, it hurts. So yeah, I had to learn to do everything from scratch, from turning your hand like this, walking. So rehabilitation was quite tough.
So, okay. So you're learning to walk. Did you get married in hospital?
Friends of mine, they were actually getting married on that day. And yeah, so this influenced them as well. And the lady Adele, she came and actually showed a wedding dress for me in the hospital. And she said while she was in the lifts coming up, people started like sniffing tears. Shame she's getting married in hospital. And it wasn't actually, she just came to show me a wedding dress and to keep me a part of the celebrations that happened with her.
Okay. And okay, so friends were there. Any friends here on this photo?
Yeah, so the big guy next to me there is JP. We grew up together. That was my best friend. That's his brother and some of my other friends. So it was a big celebration, sort of out of hospital, out of ICU, starting to get better. That's my younger sister. She was busy studying. And
What?
that was it. That was about 2 months coming home. It was a Monday.
2 months in hospital.
Yeah, 2 months in hospital. So I came home. Couldn't bend the legs, so can't sit in a car like that. So they got the ambulance to pick me up and bring me home.
And then what happened at home?
I was glad, and everybody was saying, you're a miracle. And I started saying, if I must be still alive, it must be a miracle. So that Monday, got home, knew the dogs, it's just so lucky to be home. And JP, my friend from the previous site, came and he visited me. And he said, that's one of my school friends. And he said he's working and he's doing his farewell. So he's not going to come Wednesday. He'll see me the weekend. And that Friday morning, I remember lying in bed and suddenly the whole family is standing next to you. And I'm like, what's up? And they said, oh, JP passed away in an accident. It's 200 meters from where your accident was.
200 meters away.
Yeah.
Where exactly was this accident?
It's on Main Reef, where Princess Potter Camp now is. My accident happened right across Dash Sand. And his accident happened further down where Pet and Bird Farm was.
What did he do? Was he also on a motorbike?
No, he was actually he was busy rebuilding an old Anglia. So he had a proper old metal car.
How did this impact on you?
Yeah, no, I took it very bad. Because he was like there every time for me, and now suddenly he was gone. And the next week I had to go back for them to remove the K wires out of my wrist. And it got postponed for another week because it was his funeral. And I went in for the K wire removal. The orthopedic surgeon said, no, man, come to the office. We'll pull it out with the pliers. And I said, there's no way.
Yeah.
There's no way. You put me under. So I went in, and then the surgeon said, they want to see what the blood clot from the tear on my liver does. So we did a sonar, and then they realized my gallbladder is going to burst. So the one op turned into sleeping over for next day for the gallbladder removal. Turned to do another 5 days in hospital. After that, I went home and I started getting sick so much that I couldn't eat. I couldn't drink water and I was so thirsty. And I remember just downing this glass of water and then I'll just vomit it up. And I was starting getting worse and worse. And I was actually one day at home and my parents phoned the ambulance and they came and fetched me and took me back to hospital. And I went in for an emergency operation. And they cut me open from this side to that side. And it turned out from the impact I had gangrene in my intestines. So they cut it out. I was back into ICU. They didn't give me much hope. So the wound wasn't closed, it was just packed. with gauze, back in ICU, 2 days I survived. Went back, they closed me up, and I remember waking up, and they said I've got a colostomy bag. And for whoever doesn't know what a colostomy bag is when they cut your intestines like that. They basically bring the intestine out and they put it on your stomach, and you do your number twos in a bag. And I was very sick in ICU that time, and I remember saying to my mom, just switch off the machines, please. I can't anymore. Just switch them off. And she said, but the machines aren't keeping you alive.
Mm.
And I was not in a lacquer plaque, but got slowly but surely I got better and got moved out to a normal ward. And sorry, this is where all the pictures stop. And back into a normal ward. Now I'm weak. I still need to learn to walk again. Now I've got this added thing of a colostomy bag. But then I started just slowly but surely getting better and better and went home. And the funny thing is, if you're not dying anymore, people forget about you. Or not forget about you, but life carries on. You got your work to go to. We'll give them a call later. We're not popping anymore. And suddenly I was alone.
Mm.
I was alone, and I had this trauma that I didn't know how to cope with. And I just spiraled. I got better. I started walking, started driving. And like I said, I spiraled. And everybody.
In the spiral, and now you're alone, you're at home, you're sitting. You had to be cared for, right? You had to look after, because you're not doing well, you can't look after yourself, you can't feed yourself, you can't bath.
And the problem is, at that moment in time, me and my mom also had words, and she said she's going to stop, and she just stopped looking after me. And then
who looked after you then?
My second oldest sister, the one that came back from America.
Okay.
So she helped me. And I had this colostomy bag. I couldn't walk to the toilet. So
how did this impact on your relationship with your mom?
It just made it worse. It just totally made it worse. Where the accident sort of brought us back together again. Now it was just, it split us up completely.
So not only are you feeling people aren't visiting you, you're all by yourself. You have to fight this thing yourself. Get rejection from your mom. Your sister's there helping you. She's here from New Zealand.
No, America. She
from
was
America.
In Chicago, yeah.
Okay. And then what happened?
And then another 2 of my friends died in one accident coming from a club. And
is it safe to be friends with you at this time in your life?
Yeah, it was. You need a danger pay.
Is this your sister?
That's my younger sister.
Okay.
And like I said, I just spiraled, and I got angry with God. And
what happened to your parents at this stage?
My parents got divorced as well.
Through all of this, they getting divorced as well.
Yeah.
And then now you alone, your parents' relationship aren't working out, they getting divorced, you angry with God.
Yeah. Because what made me angry is like everybody coming saying, you're a miracle. Jesus is so merciful to you. And I say, do you call this mercy? Do you call this mercy?
Yeah.
I remember I started drinking heavily. I was standing in a bar, and there was a guy that used to work with my mom. And he in the bar said to me, you're a miracle, and the Lord saved you. And I actually wanted to fight him. I couldn't walk, but I had a crutch, and I wanted to fight him, because who are you to tell me that? What do you know about mercy?
Yeah.
What do you know about? And I got to a point where I just said, there is no God, because if there's a God, why did he do this to me?
Mm.
Why did he do this to me?
Mm.
And I not disowned him, but I unkenned him. I just said, that's it. Yeah.
And then?
Yeah, the amazing thing is, if you're 19 and you're young, or 20, 21, you heal quickly. The mental time takes a bit more to heal. And I worked in the security industry, and I was very reckless. If there was cash and transits to be picked up in N Street and CBD, I'll volunteer for it. I also became a police reservist, worked at the flying squad. So I won't say I had a death wish, but life was cheap for me. If I die, I die.
So you went all out.
Yeah.
But being reckless.
Just before that, coming back, I spiraled so badly that at one moment, a point in time, I just couldn't anymore. And I remember going to JP's grave, and I stood there, and I had a gun in my hand, and I just wanted to end it. Because
what stopped you?
Just thinking of my dad, what it will do to him to come and pick me up with my corpse up from here. And it would destroy you.
The thought of your dad having to come and to pick up your corpse is what stopped you.
Yes.
Why?
I couldn't do it to him. I couldn't do it to him.
So the one person that you felt loved you enough, you didn't want to hurt him so badly that you didn't want to put him through that, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And then there's chaos. There's now this chaos of life.
So
if you're not going to kill yourself, you want something else to kill you.
Basically, yes. I wanted somebody else to do it to me. So I put myself into dangerous situations. But it never happened.
Okay.
Because somebody was looking after me.
But now you're working for the police.
Yeah, so I worked for the police, and in that time span, I met my wife, which was my girlfriend that time. And
is this her?
Yeah, that's Karina. So started dating, and that one Sunday I went and visited her. Didn't go to work for the police. And I remember sitting with her, and it was about in the afternoon, and we got this call that my police friend was taken hostage. And
where was this?
It was in Jeppystown. And then it turned out, I don't know how many guys remember it, it was the Jeppystown massacre where they caught the robbers, said, I need you, pick and pay, and they chased them. And it ended up in a shootout, and 4 police officers were killed, and 8 suspects were killed. So if it wasn't for her, I would have been there, and I would have been behind that, and I would have been dead.
Gert was killed.
He was killed
as one of the 8.
Yeah. One of the 4 policemen.
4 policemen. You would have probably also been there.
He was my workmate. He was my second best friend, who I also grew up from primary school.
Okay.
And like I said, I was always with him, and we worked together. So either I was in front of him or I was behind him, but I would have been dead.
So your wife saved your life?
My wife saved my life. She saved my life and many other reasons as well, because when I met her, I knew I had to change. I can't live like I am and be a good boyfriend at that time to her. So I started drinking less and started, just plateauing out. And I remember one Easter, we as a kid said, let's go with my dad, because he's getting old now. Let's go with him to his church and do the Easter church service with him, and then afterwards we go and eat with him. And afterwards, I remember I said, we need to go to church. And that started happening. And we started going to church. Now, our minister there calls us the submarine Christians. So Sunday you surface, And Monday you dive, you're gone again. And Sunday you're up. I've got a different name for it. I was a checkbox Christian. So go to church, check. Do good deeds for others, fill your bottles, check. Don't swear. Oh, Lord, I work with cars and engines, small, and then you start reasoning with God, saying, that sin is not so bad. But I was under the belief that your good deeds will bring you into
It's very difficult not to swear in your industry. What do you?
Yeah. So I'm working in the mechanical motor industry. And one thing I can tell you, it doesn't matter what you drive and how much millions you pay for your car. Somewhere a mechanic is swear at it and call it a stupid thing. So,
So Izak, about a year ago, we would not be sitting here having this conversation if a year ago you didn't give me a call. What happened?
So every Thursday I sit in a business networking meeting, and anybody that sits in a weekly repetitive meeting, you go into autopilot. You start and you listen, but you go on with your own things. And after the meeting, I got this voice note, and the voice note, basically the lady said, she looked at me a couple of times in the meeting, and she see I was troubled and worried. And to her, that is, because my name Izak means to laugh. When the Lord said to Abram and Sarah, you're going to have a kid, she laughed because she was so old. And she said, it was just astounding for her to see this worry in me. And my name says I must laugh. And she said she's got this verse that the Lord said you must just give to me.
Sorry, this is at a business networking meeting.
Yeah.
It's not a Christian gathering.
No.
Do you pray before you start?
No,
nothing. Just a business.
So I got this random voice note after it. I've never met the lady.
You've never met her before?
And I haven't seen her after this. I haven't seen her.
She sends you a voice note.
A voice note. With this verse. And it's 2 Romans verse 10. And it says, but there will be glory and honor and peace from God for all who do good. And I thought to myself, these Christians with a Bible under their arm, who are you to send text out of context, because some Christians just, they quote text that suits you. And I thought, no, you need to read the whole thing.
So you went home, or you have the Bible on your phone?
I have a Bible now on
okay.
my phone.
Oh, no.
I actually Googled it because I didn't have a Bible close to me.
Okay.
So I thought, no, read the whole thing. And verse 1 says, you may think you can condemn such people, but you are just as bad, and you have no excuse. And I went cold. This was a proverbial smack against my head,
In your heart, you're feeling a resistance to everything she's just said to you. You're irritated because she quoted a Bible verse.
Yes.
You decided to go and read the verses before this, and the first thing,
context,
and to bring context to this, and the first thing you read is, who are you to judge these types of people?
Yes.
And you go cold. What happened?
I kept on reading, and then I got to verse 4 and 5, and it says, don't you see how wonderfully kind, tolerant, and patient God is with you? Does this mean nothing to you? Can't you see that his kindness is intended to turn you from your sin? But because you are stubborn and refuse to turn from your sin, you are storing up terrible punishment for yourself. For a day of anger is coming, and when God's righteous judgment will be revealed. And then I hit a panic. And now I know it's Matthew 7, but this verse came up, and it was just in my head. It said, Lord, but we cast out demons in your name. And he says, I don't know you, go away. And I just started reading a panic. I didn't know what to do. And luckily the previous week I saw you and Philip on a YouTube video having a discussion. And I reached out to you and I said, I need to talk to you. And I send you a voice note as well.
Just keep in mind, Izak and I have been friends with each other. I think maybe I referred to something spiritually to him maybe once when he was I started a homeowners residence association in the area, and because there's a lot of crime and everything, and somebody else took over, I reclaimed the residence association and then handed over to Izak. So every now and then, if you're the chairman of a residence association, it's not fun. People don't appreciate that you're there. They're very critical of what you do, even though you try your utmost best. And it's just, you know how it is. You know what it is on the WhatsApp group. So every now and then he'll come and he'll phone me and he'll say, we'll communicate with each other. And he'd say, listen, I can't anymore. I only kill somebody. So I'm going to resign. And so I'd say, don't give the devil chance to influence you. And just remember, you're doing a good job. So how long were you the chairman? 3 years or 2?
Yeah, I was chairman for 3 years.
For 3 years.
For 3
okay,
years,
so
yeah.
eventually he resigned. So I'm very proud of him. but now, all of a sudden, he sends me this voice note. He says, "Listen to this. Tell me what you think." And my reaction was, "Okay, well, okay, I've listened to it. What does this mean to you?" No. Can we have breakfast?
Can we meet for coffee?
Yeah, coffee.
Yeah.
So I said, no, let's, did we have breakfast or coffee? I can't remember. But in any case, we met at Wimpy the next morning.
Yeah. So anybody that knows Werner, he said, let's meet there. I said, can I meet you before the shop open? You know, like Wimpy's open at 6. And he says, 6. Oh. So I said, all right, 7. And we met there at 7. And I said to him, you know, we met there at 7. I don't know. If I die now, I don't know if I'm going. Don't know. I know I'm not going to heaven.
Huge step from knowing somebody, but not really having known them, and then having a conversation. Why didn't you phone your dominee or your pastor? Or
I just, you know, you go to church and you've got this facade that you're holding up, and I didn't want to break that facade, and I don't know. I got drawn to you, and I phoned you.
Okay, and so we're having this conversation, and Izak says to me, people say that they're going to go to heaven because they made a decision in their life. They have a date. I don't have one.
Yeah, because everybody always said, you know, the day I gave my heart to the Lord was in a bathroom here or in Tate there. And I said, I don't have it. And that's one of the things why I know I'm not truly saved. And now I've got a date. It was last year, 25 Mandela Day, which is 18th of July.
Mm-hmm. And so we're sitting there and we're having a conversation in the Wimpy. And I said to him, listen, you're not joining a religion. Okay. Jesus said, you did this and this and this and this for me, but go away, I don't know you. And that was exactly the verse that he had earlier had. And then I said, this is about your relationship with God, right?
Yeah, so a personal relationship with God.
Personal relationship with God.
And after that, I remember and I said, what now? And when the first marksman came up.
Well, let me just say this. Have you ever prayed with somebody in the Wimpy? Okay.
Like, and not a quick prayer.
What are these two men doing? This guy's repenting and this guy's praying and that person's watching. And the waiters are all standing there looking at you like, you're having church here in the Wimpy, right place. So, in any case, so the Wimpy there in Shubens Valley, sacred Wimpy. You can, if you want to have a coffee, that's the place to go. If you want to set your life right with God, Wimpy's the place.
Yeah, it
So we
shows you
had the
God-
boot camp coming up.
God speaks to you and saves people in many situations in different places.
Right where you are.
You don't have to go to church or anywhere. If you're serious about making your life right with God, any place will do, because He's everywhere.
Then we had the boot camp, the one that we were speaking about a little bit earlier, right?
Yeah. So now I'm born again. I'm a Christian. What do you do? How do you go? And the first boot camp came up, and it was so liberating. Not liberating, but it was just sort of like step 1, 2, 3, do this.
Gave you a lot of guidelines.
A lot of guidance, yes. So I highly recommend the boot camp, Marksman, for anybody that wants to just make your journey and relationship with God and Jesus.
Okay. And then we went on an adventure as well, which is great. We'll talk about the adventure a little bit later. And by the way, if you want to go to the bootcamp, there's a little QR code a little bit later when we do our breakfast. You can just scan it. You can join the group, and then we'll send you the information. Later in the year, we're going to do an adventure. Again, we've done one earlier. We're going to show you some information about that. But here's the thing, Izak, is before you had the accident, and great, you were it's like the mouse that was born in a cookie jar, and he thought he was a cookie, but he wasn't. He was a mouse. Okay, so you were born in church, but doesn't make you a Christian. But so you were church going, you were a cultural Christian, right? Shall we say that? But what was your real relationship with God before the accident happened?
Well, just before the accident, I had no relationship with God. But before that, it was more like you pray, thank you for the food. Normal prayers. You know, somebody said, if all your prayers come true, would your food be blessed? Would you get safe to school? And that was it. I was just praying normal stuff.
Were you angry with God, or were you just apathetic towards God?
And I wasn't angry at God. I was not identifying with that.
He was just there. Okay. After your accident, you were angry and upset.
Yeah. No,
okay.
I was very cross with God. Yeah.
Okay. And so when that lady sent you that voice note, you had a very big fright, actually.
Yeah, because going back to church and listening to sermons, and the sermon says, God is knocking, and you must open the door. And one sermon said, one day he's going to stop knocking. And woe you if he stops knocking.
Mm.
And you get these messages, and you get people asking you, are you born again? And it's like, yeah. But you're not. And like I said, this verse was just a shake, a smack against the back of the head. Like, this is your last chance. Listen or be lost.
Yeah, you were very strong that day. You said it feels to you like God is saying to you, this is your last chance.
Yeah.
And so I said, let's change it.
Yeah. And I remember 2 weeks later, I was invited to another men's breakfast in Randfontein. And at that breakfast, they sang that song, Goodness of God. And it's the first time I heard it. And it's just the words. All my life, you've been so, so good. Even if I didn't want it and didn't appreciate it, he held me in his hand. And that song's got very special meaning to me. So it just, you realize everybody talks about the mercy and the grace of God, but you need to experience it for yourself.
Okay, so friends, here's the thing, is God has a plan with your life, and he will do anything in his ability to draw your attention. And you get so many opportunities in your life to connect with him. And Izak responded to this. So we're going to pray for Izak. Philip can come to the front, and he's going to lead us in discussion and prayer. But John 15 stands out to me, is that he's the vine, we are the branches. He says, this is John 4, and if you abide in him and he abides in you, you can ask whatever you want. But then John 15 says this, is God comes with his pruning scissors, and if you don't bear fruit, he's going to come in and he's going to cut some branches, and then so that you can bear much fruit. And so just want to thank you for responding to God's word. We come here, and there's we have these breakfasts. Izak's here with the breakfast, always ready to help, etc. So
I just want to say something on that. About a month ago, I asked you, when's the next men's breakfast? Because I feel I need to tell my story. And you said, we need to make a plan. And after I said that, I said this morning to Philip, I don't know if God is testing me, saying, show me what you will show me, or is the devil saying, I don't want this to come out.
Yeah.
But this last month, I've been taking strainer.
Yeah.
And this verse coming up as well of pruning, and one thing was saying it's in winter, the tree looks dead, but it's not dead. The roots are growing, the roots are getting stronger. For the summer, there's going to be a bountiful harvest.
Absolutely. Let's pray for Izak. Dear Lord, thank you so much for Izak. Thank you for his story. Thank you for his life. And we pray your blessing on his life, and may you be glorified through it. In Jesus' name. Amen.